won't stop till killer cops are in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No, why you want to talk to me? Why would you say that?
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one: concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, Sid, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the law?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get it up.
Profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Hold on a second, sir. Do me a favor, take out your keys. Go ahead, you can record me.
For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I'm about to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 to 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check, mic check. This is West Wednesday 444. we are calling for justice for all victims of police violence. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check. So, welcome to West Wednesday. And as you saw the video, we're still fighting for mic check. So as you saw the video, we're still fighting for accountability for my big brother Tyrone West, but not just for my big brother Tyrone West, but literally for all the victims of police brutality. And this is week 444. So since 2013 up until now, we have been constantly fighting. And my thing is, just like an officer gets to return home to their family or needs to return home to their family, so do people that are just the average citizen. We need to return home to our family. And tonight, no further ado, I have two powerful sheroes. And I'm going to first bring on my beautiful sister, Mama Clark. She does a lot. Unfortunately, her son, her baby, even though he was a grown man, but whenever a mother has a child, that's always our baby, no matter how grown they are. Right. But her son was actually murdered, literally in her grandmother's backyard. And what was he holding? A cell phone. Horrible, disgusting. So no further ado, Mama Clark. Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you. Yes, we can hear you perfectly fine. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yep. So you could just go for it, Queen, because I know you have another engagement after this. And, yep. So. Yes, thank you for sending.
Yeah, Mama Clark, Mama Clark, there seems to be some problem with your audio a little bit. Do you have another device that is running?
Yeah, because I was told that they could hear me, but they couldn't hear you. I was just seeing like some messages come through my phone. So, guys, if you
Try
guys
muting
can
your other
hold on,
device.
we're having technical difficulties right now, so we're working so you guys can actually hear Mama Clark because she's sharing a lot of important information. So if you guys get while she get that straightened out, that would be awesome.
All right, I'm trying to mute people as they.
Ben, can you hear me? Mic check.
Yes, now I can hear you.
Okay, so we can't. Mama Clark, can you hear me? I can't hear you, Mama Clark. I don't know what happened. So I'll give her a few seconds to oh yeah. All right, guys, can you guys hear Mama Clark? Mic check. 'Cause I can hear you, but I want to make.
Hey, Tawanda, it seems like there's a lot of feedback coming through your system, and it goes away when I mute you. So I think there might be an echo. Can you do a mic check real quick?
Mic check.
Yeah, it's still coming through.
That's weird. It's coming through from my end, you said?
Yeah, so there's a delay. There's an echo whenever. Yeah, it's coming through from your end. Whenever you speak, and I think it might be your headphones.
I'm gonna mute myself real quick, guys, and Mama Clark can finish talking just for time's sake because I want to hear our sister Queen, Minister Paris, because I know she have another, obligation. So I'm gonna turn mine off.
Mic check. Go ahead, Mama Clark. Yeah, I'm trying to see if someone can check to see if there's sound coming from the broadcast on your page. Yeah, Tawanda's muted right now, and yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you. That one is probably because we got that thing joined out like that. Can you hear me, Mama Clark? Yeah. Ben, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but you're echoing.
Okay, let me. Weird.
Okay. Check 1, check 2.
Chat. They really playing with my Facebook today.
The entire live stream got shut down, so Tawanda is joining back in,
Mic check.
as is Mama Clark. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check. Oh, they can hear us now. Yes?
Mic check, mic check.
Okay, yes, they can hear me now. Yay! So,
Sorry about that.
for
This
that,
does not usually happen.
pursuing, moving forward. That's all right. You know, you got some powerful women on here where, you know, the devil want to keep us silent, but we will not stop. Won't stop, can't stop. Right? Right. That's what the fight is about. So, with that being said, let me go back to my. She said, what? No, still can hear. Well, these people are saying they can hear. So I'm going to move forward. Moving forward. I'm Mama Clark. I'm the mother of Stephon Clark. Stephon Clark was killed by Sacramento Police Department March 18th, 2018, in his grandmother's backyard while only holding a cell phone. The officers who killed my son are still employed with the Sacramento Police Department. Since my son was murdered, my family has mobilized to seek justice not only for Stephon, but for other families impacted by police violence. By implementation of California Assembly Bill 392, the Stephon Clark Law, we now are in the position to officers accountable for excessive force here in California. under the Stephon Clark law, as of today, 3 officers are being charged with murder and manslaughter. And so, although we haven't received justice, we have, because of these other children, because of the other families who are getting the justice and accountability that they so deserve. But we will continue to fight. So this March 18th, to commemorate and honor the life and legacy of Stephon Clark in a positive light, the I Am SAC Foundation, which is the I Am Stephon Alonzo Clark Foundation, founded by my son Stevante Clark, is hosting the first annual Justice and Accountability March. It is a national event, and it is a platform for the families, by the families, to seek the justice and accountability that we all so deserve. The event portal to register if you are an impacted family is jamevent.org. That's JAM, J-A-M, event, EBENT.org to register. There are also portals for vendors, sponsorships, and information on this site. We look so forward to all of the families coming out and being heard. We know that we are stronger together than we are separate. And so as we come together as a fist, we will get the justice and accountability that we all deserve. So what I was reading earlier was our press release. It's just a lot of information that I would like to share with you all before I go. Okay. Thank you for your patience. So, announcing the National Accountability March, the JAM event, honoring the legacy of Stephon Alonzo Clark, impacted families throughout the United States. So this national event is being held on March 18th, 2022, honoring the families throughout the United States that have been impacted by law enforcement brutality. The national event will honor the voices of thousands of impacted families, beginning with the Stephon Clark family, George Floyd family, Breonna Taylor family, Ahmaud Arbery family, and the Botham Jean family. The National Justice and Accountability March is committed to creating a safe space for the families to share their testimonies, providing a platform, being supported, feeling supported, heard, loved, and acknowledged. This all-day event will feature family testimonials, keynote speakers, entertainment, food, a kids zone, and vendor opportunities. The vendor opportunities will be for businesses and nonprofit organizations throughout California and the rest of the United States. The JAM is expecting 50,000 plus attendees and up to 100,000 plus throughout the United States virtually, and millions watching on national television. Whether attending in person or virtually, everyone has the opportunity to change the narrative by being the change in the narrative. Collectively, all voices will be heard on the floors of the Senate, creating legislation that protects all of us from brutality or loss of life being repeated. This National Justice Accountability March, will be led by the I Am SAC Foundation founder, Stevante Clark, brother of Stephon Clark. I Am SAC Foundation is a movement unified by social, transformative, and restorative justice, and it's built on the foundation of the SAC 6. The I Am SAC 6 is this. Number one, we bridge the gap between law enforcement and at-risk communities. Number two, we inform and educate on legislation and policy change. Number three, we provide resources and healing spaces for those in need in the community. Number four, we commemorate the life and legacy of Stephon Clark in a positive light. Number five, we receive recommendations from the community on how to prevent something like this from ever happening again. And last but not least, number six, everybody loves everybody. The JAM event is committed to bringing national awareness as we continue the restoration process by bridging the gap between law enforcement and at-risk communities and provide a platform to inform and educate on policy and legislative change. As Stevante Clark continues to express, we are not against law enforcement, we are against police brutality. The I Am SAC Foundation is to representing and serving the underserved, developed at-risk communities by providing resources, education, and a network. Thank you. And that is it.
Thank you, Queen. I don't know if Minister Purse hopped up because I know she had to be on live for her prayer thing. Are you still on, beautiful? Yes. So you actually got like 3 minutes, and I apologize. We was having technical issues, and I knew we was going to start having them as soon as it gets broadcast from my page. But the devil is a liar, so the
That's
floor
right.
is
No,
on
we're
you.
fine. Keep moving. Keep moving. We're fine.
Yes, but I know you got your 7 o'clock gaze, and so I want to. But before I bring you on real quickly, and thank you on Mama Clark for sharing that, and I'm so excited. And I can't wait to join your platform and along with everybody, on that date that you set. And I will definitely keep on sharing it. But this Monday in my own city, right here in Baltimore, we lost 3 firefighters. Literally, they were going to work, they kissed their families goodbye, and things of that nature. But it was 4 of them, but 3 of them didn't return back home to their families. And my heart goes completely out to the fallen firefighters that lost their life. And also I'm praying for the 4th firefighters actually fighting for their life right now as we're speaking. I mean, it's just sad. And then they were like in an abandoned house on Stricker Street early in the morning. This is really sad. But today I want to bring on our beautiful sister, and she experienced her own, and it touched me because me and her have been friends on Facebook for God knows when, and I always follow her. But the day that I followed her, it broke my heart. Literally, I saw a picture where she had showed her hands, and then I was like, oh my God, like, what is that? I thought it wasn't real. But then she went to explain that, how she was, her own home had caught on a fire, and her story is just like, oh my God, a true testimony. But the thing that really like curved and did it for me was her faith in the Lord, and I never seen nobody heal up like this big thing. So no further ado, mic check.
Mic check, mic check. It is truly, I have to say, truly an honor to not only be here with you all on this live broadcast, but just to be here in the land of the living. As you mentioned, we just recently lost these firefighters, and it is a true tragedy because we just got finished burying one of our own officers just a few weeks ago. And then for Baltimore City to be hit with this yet again so soon, it's devastating. I can't imagine what those families are going through to know that their loved one, has perished in such of a manner such as this. I know what that tragedy feels like to an extent. Having to hear now the stories of my children tell the horrific ordeal that they had to endure. Fortunately for us, no one perished in our fire. The materialistic things that we lost can be replaced. And for that, I'm thankful alone. But, Tawana, I have to say, you've been following me for some time now. You went through the process with me losing my son, and now to deal with this situation. And I'm just like, God just won't take his hands off of me. And for that, I'm like elated at this point. People are like, how are you smiling after all that y'all just went through? But when you go through a tragedy like this, and then you step back and you look at what your blessings are in it, you can't stay stuck in that detrimental state. You have to focus on moving forward and what you're blessed to have with now. My birthday was January the 1st. And, weather was kind of crazy. So I decided I would delay my birthday trip for about a week. And so that following Friday, I left to go on my birthday escape. It was just supposed to have been a little weekend getaway. And when I was packing my bags and getting myself together that Friday, my spirit was so heavy, it was shifted. It kept saying, I really don't feel like going. When you're leaving for vacation, you be pumped, you be excited. But for me, I was delayed, and something kept pulling me back, but I forced myself to go anyway. And when I got to my destination, although with my friends, I was having a great time, something was just off, and I couldn't figure out what it was. So when I got up that Saturday morning, I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna travel back home. And my friend said, so you're just gonna leave? I said, yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut out and I'm gonna go home. I said, because something is not feeling balanced in my spirit. And I try to always listen when something is off. And so we were traveling back, and I said, you know what? When we get on a highway, we'll stop at the restaurant and we'll eat breakfast. that didn't happen. We just kept on moving as if the conversation never even happened. When we got to, because I'm up here in the Westminster area, when we got on 795, I said, you know what, at my exit, there's a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna grab the kids some donuts, and then we'll be good. We kept on rolling, went right past the exit, never stopped at Dunkin' Donuts. And then we got to my driveway and I said, you know what? We were supposed to have stopped and got donuts. And they said, yeah, I know. You still want to go? I said, no, I'm all right. And so we came on through to my driveway and we sat there for a moment. And when I got out the car, my friend grabbed my suitcase and everything, and I put the key in the door and I stood there and I said, something doesn't feel right. And my friend said to me, well, what is it? He said, something does seem a little bit off. And I said, I can't figure out what it is. We said goodbyes. My friend left. I closed the door. I went in my bedroom and I had begun to unbutton my coat, but I didn't take it all the way off. That's something I never do because with COVID and everything, normally when I come in the house, I take my coat and my shoes off at the door, spray it down with Lysol, and I move on my way. But I didn't do that this particular day. When I began to take my coat off, my daughter started screaming and I threw it back on real quick and I ran down the hallway and I ran into the fire. I had no idea that that part of the house was on fire. And so my instant reaction was make sure that the kids were out and be safe. So that was my whole process of thinking. I wasn't thinking, Paris, you've run into fire and you're literally burning. All I could think about was save the kids first and then try to save the house if you can. And in my process of reacting instead of acting, my coat caught fire. And I just remember thinking to myself, okay, I'm hot and I'm burning. And then I felt the flames in my face. And so I said, okay, I know I need to get on the floor and I need to try to roll this thing out. But I guess somewhere along the line between the heat and the smoke inhalation and of my clothes burning, I must have blacked out. And I remember my son dragging me out of the kitchen and he pulled me to the dining room. And as I lay there on the floor, I was going, oh God, I'm on fire. I said, God, help me. And then everything in the house went black. And I'm thinking, okay, this is it. I done checked out. But when all actuality, the fire went out by itself, Tawana. Before the firefighters could get here, before the paramedics could arrive, the fire that was up the walls, that had melted all the appliances, that hit the roof, the hardwood floors were burnt, the fire went out by itself. When the fire marshal came, he asked me, he said, Dr. Evans, do you have a sprinkler system in your house? I said, no. He said, did you use a fire extinguisher? I said, no. He said, well, how the heck did the fire go out? I said, the only thing I can tell you is I called on God and I said, Lord, I'm burning. And the fire just went out. Now, by the time they got me to the hospital, I knew something was wrong with me. I hadn't seen my face. I hadn't really examined myself. I just knew that the coat was burnt and I knew that my legs seemed hot. So in the ambulance, the paramedic says, do you realize that your boots are melted on your legs? I said, no, I had no idea. I looked down and these boots that I had just purchased the day before that I started not to wear actually saved my legs, because had I not had those thigh-high boots on, the fire would have ran down me the way that it did, and it have burnt my legs as well. But between this coat, I'm telling you, the gifts that my family brought me for my birthday are actually what saved me, because the dress that I had on was highly flammable. So everywhere that coat did not cover, because I had my sleeves like this in my dress, so they stuck out. All of that was burnt. That's how my hands caught fire. The front of the dress where I had unbuttoned the coat but didn't take it off, that had burnt up. And then the boots melted on my legs, but never burned my legs. So when we get to the hospital and they're telling me about these first and second degree burns, I'm going, but y'all don't understand. And the doctors were going, well, what don't we understand? I said, you don't understand how this happened the way it was supposed to happen. I think about the fact that if I had to stay the rest of the weekend on my trip, my children would have been home in this fire by themselves. Although my son is 19, but I also have a 13-year-old and a 6-year-old, they would not have known what to do. They would have panicked. And I said, God spoke to me. He knew I wasn't supposed to have left Friday. That's what that uneasy feeling was. But then to wake me up Saturday and for me to be obedient, not stop at the restaurant, not stop to get donuts, walk in the house and figure out what was going on, that was nothing but the grace of God. And so I say to people when they ask me, how am I still smiling through this? Because I think about what it could have been. I think about how this could have went down, but he shifted my atmosphere to be something totally different. So yeah, I can handle some 1st and 2nd degree burns. When you see my pictures online of how my face was burnt up, I don't know if the camera is going to show you this really good, but this is the burns on my face. And I'll show you the burns to my hand. This is how my hand was burnt up. And that goes up my arm. That goes up my arm to now, as you can see, I don't have any makeup on. This is how my face has healed in less than 2 weeks from 2nd degree burns.
Wow.
And this is my hand. My arm, let's see if I can get this right. My hand looks totally good. As you can see, there is some scarring, very minimal scarring. You know, I am truly, truly blessed beyond measures. And I think I can say God has given me an amazing career, not only as a pastor, but as a holistic healer. And so that's what I actually do for a living. I create herbal remedies, holistic organic remedies right from my garden to help heal the body naturally without using medications and things like that, because they had me at the Baby Burn Center. And I said, no, I need to go home because I know what to do. And so I started using those remedies. One in particular is called the Oil of Life. I got to send you. Don't let me forget to send you a bottle of my Oil of Life. This is an organic, holistic healing oil. And the natural herbs and vegetation that I put in this oil is actually what preserves the skin, and it makes the burns go away. It took all of the blisters away. It pulled all of my skin back in place, whereas most people would have to get skin grafting and things like that. I didn't have to do any of that. I have a little image, but is nowhere near in comparison to the pain that I felt in the very beginning versus now me treating it organically. So I can honestly say I am blessed beyond measure. So when people say, do you ever stop smiling? No, I don't. This smile comes with a lot of heartache. It comes with a lot of trials and tribulations that I had to overcome, you know, with losing my son back in October, and that whole horrific ordeal. Although, you know, I can honestly say I did not lose my son to, you know, a tragic situation of being done prematurely. Unfortunately, it was just his time. It was just his time. And I have to accept that. And when I accept that, you know, I always look back to God and I say, you know what? I asked him for 3 things with my son's transitioning. 1, to let him go peacefully. I got that. 2, not to let me lose my mind in it, because I still have to be mommy to my other 4 children. And I think I can say I'm still pretty sane. And then 3, to heal my heart so that I could smile again in the thereafter. And so my son's journey and mission was called Standing Mike Strong. And I can honestly say we still stand Mike Strong. And even in with this fire, I believe my son's hands definitely was on me that particular day, because I don't know, other than the grace of God, how that fire went out. And when we look back at it, because we look at that, you know, the damage is finally being fixed because the kitchen had to be totally restored. I thank God that the whole house was not lost. But when we look at that, and I sit there sometimes and I go, you know what? This wasn't supposed to be. The devil really meant for us to die in that. He really, really did. He really wanted to do some damage. I think he felt like I couldn't make her lose and doubt her faith in God with her son. So I'm going to really mess her up with this. But he had no idea of the armor that I had on that particular day and how God always prevails and brings me out always. So I say to you, Tawana, I have admired you in this journey that you have been on with your brother and your family, and your courage and your ability as a virtuous woman. Let me correct myself, as a virtuous queen, to speak out, stand up for what you believe in, and bring the determination and the fire behind it that you do. Keep doing that, because you have people, although we may not talk on a daily basis, trust and believe there is always somebody like myself that's standing in the gap on your behalf. So I commend you. And I say, job done. Keep up the great work, because it blesses so many people that you don't even know that you are touching and affecting, and you're pushing and you're motivating and you're encouraging them. And that's what we need here in Baltimore. Baltimore has become a place that is so plagued and infected by this disease of people who don't have faith. And when they don't have faith, they don't have love. And when you don't have love, you can't learn to respect and honor other people. This is a city of entitlement, not only with the people, but with our officials, with the law enforcement, with folks that's surrounding us. And when you have that entitlement mentality, you think that it's okay to go out there and just take people's lives and not be held accountable for it. That's a disgrace. So when we have citizens like ourselves, that's just ordinary people that step in and have a powerful voice such as yours, I say keep moving forward, because at some point in time, the shift is going to happen and it's going to blow people's minds. So keep pushing. Don't stop. What you say, can't stop, don't stop, keep pushing, because you got a community of women pastors, women preachers that's up behind you, my sister, and the power we bring alone is phenomenal. And we're going to keep blowing folks' minds. So keep your broadcast going, keep speaking out there, keep motivating and pulling together your fellowship of community, because it's going to empower so many people. And I also want to say before I log off, because I have to do this, and I hope you won't strike me for this. I partner with the company, Brooks Clinton Funeral Services. We're located in West Baltimore. We're right there in the heart of it, at 2222 West North Avenue. We strive to help those families here in Baltimore City that have not only lost a loved one to tragedy, but also to the families who don't have the financial means or are looking for someone to work with them during tragedies such as this. As you know, some of our funeral homes, they don't have that care and compassion to really want to reach out and help our families in such a time. Everything is always about the dollar. But I encourage my people to always seek the resources that you need. If you find yourself in a situation where you need help, call me or call my Brooks Clinton team down at Brooks Clinton Funeral Services, because we are there to help. For us, it's about togethering the community, because where we grow, you all grow. And where we are empowered, we're able to give back to the community, okay? So be blessed.
Thank you so much, beautiful. Like, thank you. So anybody that missed church on Sunday, right, was in person and virtual, you definitely got it today. You got it on a Wednesday. Thank you. I wish I had the little collection plate to pass around. But like, I just, and I also, because you go this, you remind me of Job. Like, literally, it's nothing the devil could do to you. You walk with that beautiful smile. You have a smile like my brother Tyrone, like pretty white teeth. Like, I love it. Like, and I'm so sorry for you losing your son. And can you tell everybody your son's name so we can uplift his name as well?
Yes. We named the motto Standing Mike Strong, but his name is Michael Evans, and he is a product of Baltimore City, a well-known and respected young man who, you know, he just got sick. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Queen, and thank you. And I know you gotta go, but make sure you tune in, because this is gonna be like, make sure you tune in after all the technical foolishness, but definitely tune in because I want to give you a special shout out. So I love you, and I know we've been blowing up with the community, you know, with all the comments, and I know you got a whole stack of them, but I know you got to go, and I respect your time. Thank you so much for blessing our lives. And I have to bring you back on again because the devil is like, he try to stop your message a little bit and delay stuff. So I definitely got to bring you back on. Thank you.
Absolutely. Whenever you call, I'll be right there.
Bless your heart. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I love you all to life, and y'all be blessed.
You be blessed too. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So again, thank you. Y'all heard it. That was our beautiful minister. Like, and that's what it's about, giving back. And for you to actually suffer through trauma, pain, and you still are able to prevail and go through, that is the most beautiful thing. You heard our beautiful queen, Mama Clark. But real quick, I'm going to check in real fast. We might check to see, you know, what all the comments and questions are at this particular time. Mic check. Marcus, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, say it again. Marcus, I can't hear you. Mic check. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Marcellus, I think we're having technical difficulties. But again, I apologize, guys. And we haven't had this much of technical difficulties since I first tried to host West Wednesday on my page. And that was the reason why I didn't. I avoided it because they was playing with me. And they still are. But no matter what, they can play all they want to play. It's going to still continue. Even if I have to say, you know what, maybe it was the wrong idea to try to host my page, we'll still be connected. So it doesn't even matter. But it's just sad that you know, we having a lot of like experiencing so much, and it's ridiculous because last week, as you noticed, with this new stream that we're using, everything was beautiful. We had a few hiccups, but it went smooth. So again, because it's coming straight from my page, there's a problem. But that just shows the power of this stuff. We're gonna wait to see if Marcellus joins us again. And real quick, I want to check in with my sister Angela. Do you want to share anything, sis? My check. Okay. And also, I was wondering, is our sister Mama Clark still on? I know she had another venue as well. But again, guys, I apologize to everybody because we're having so many technical difficulties. In case you missed it, or in case you're just joining us, we were honored to have Mama Clark, the mother of Stephon Clark, who was actually murdered in his grandmother's backyard. And the only thing Stephon Clark was holding when he was gunned down was a cell phone. And thank God, you know, his mother, his family, because we have brought his family on this platform many a times, and I have been on theirs, but this is the first time ever having Mama Clark join us, and I'm glad she was able to join. But you know, we are always had our beautiful the grandmother join us as well as his brother. So I'm just honored just to have them, you know, in here. They shared a lot, and I'll be joining them in March. They're doing a big thing in March. I will share the information, more information as it becomes available. And also on Monday, I mentioned that we literally had firefighters in our city that was going to put out a fire in an abandoned building, and pretty much 3 firefighters lost their lives, and our heart goes out. And as our sister, Minister Purse pretty much said, we already was going through a tragedy of losing a good officer. You know, we were dealing with Officer Howley's, you know, losing her right before the holidays and keeping her and her family in solidarity and things of that nature. And at the end of the day, just like I started saying when we first started, you know, the same way officers need to return home to their families, the same way firefighters need to return home to their families, so do the average constituent. So do our fathers, so do our brothers, so do our sons, so do our daughters. Everybody deserves that fair opportunity, no matter if they wear a badge, no matter what their job title is, no matter anything, what you know, no matter how their finances are, everybody deserves to return home to their family. And it's just sad when somebody can't. But we just had our minister hers on, and she like literally, like to me, she reminds me of the book of Job. Literally, the devil was trying to do everything, but for her, literally, just recently, not too long ago, lose her son, and you know, Michael Evans. That was just like so sad, and to still prevail, to still give back to you guys, and to give back to us. It's just like that's my true share, bro. Like, I mean, I couldn't imagine, and I don't ever want to imagine how it feels to lose a child. Like literally, I know what it is to lose a sibling, and that was heartbreaking because my brother Tyrone was more to me than just a big brother. He was like my father. He even reminded me so much of my mother. Like he was my everything, my best friend, like literally everything. Like so, and to lose him, but to actually just on yesterday, I was out with my son and his girlfriend, and I call her my daughter-in-law because I'm calling it into existence because hopefully soon they will tie the knot and I'll keep you guys posted. But I really love them being together because she brings out the best in him and he brings out the best in her. And that's what it's about. But to actually bear witness, seeing the innocence of, you know, our babies just having a nice time. And all I could think about was the mothers that lost their children, such as Mama Clark. Like how heartbreaking that must have been, and it still is. Like, and I always think of my sister Gina, who lost her beautiful. I think of all of my moms, like all of my moms in the movement. I think of all of my sisters that lost brothers and loved ones. I just think of everybody. Like at the end of the day, nobody deserves to be brutally murdered, and no mother deserves to ever have to bury their child, whether it's through sickness, which is to be sort of like an act of God or whatever, because they're not murdered. But it's still like I don't want to lose my children to anything. I want it to be where as though when it's my time for my children to bury me, that's all I ask God for, because like no, like nobody should have to go through the agonizing pain of losing anyone. Like I wish that, you know, we lived in a world that the only thing we would ever have to worry about is sickness taking a hold of us. Just dying from natural causes, like living, you know, to your time is actually done, which is a long age of like living up to be like 100 years old or more. But unfortunately, that's not the world that we live in. So unfortunately, just looking in the new year, the only thing changed was the year, but the homicide rate is still going up, and it's horrible. It's devastating. Literally, every time I turn on the news, somebody is getting gunned down, and then it feels like it's getting closer and closer. Because literally, I was last week, and I saw it on my sister's page, where over the weekend, I'm sorry, where she had posted that it was a shooting near me. And literally, I was riding down that road, and I actually rolled over as they were putting the yellow tape up, and I saw the car crash. And when I seen Adina shared it on my sister Angela's page, I'm like, oh my God, like I actually saw as the ambulance was coming up, and I'm thinking it was just, my mind was just being like, oh my God, like maybe it was an accident. I was praying at the time, like, oh my God, maybe it was a terrible accident. I'm praying nobody died, because you know sometimes when they put up the yellow tape to investigate stuff, that don't mean that the person died. So I was just praying, but I thought truly it was a real bad accident. But I had no idea that someone was gunned down again. Like normally you would hear about like stuff happening, like not in broad daylight or like closed out alleys. Things are happening in broad daylight. Literally, one of my family members actually was over there by I think Walker's Avenue, where the person was killed in their car. Like, it's just way too much. Like, how many more people got to be gunned down, literally, for this city to take it seriously? Because the city has failed us. They have failed us over and over and over again. It is very heartbreaking and it's very devastating to live in a city that don't give a damn about anything. Meanwhile, City Hall is shut down. But meanwhile, the schools are open, everything's open, free homes, everything. Business as usual. But City Hall, the most important place that we need to be able to go inside, advocate, shut stuff down, it's just now they're comfortable with just jumping on virtual stuff. Like, I'm not even comfortable at all because I feel like I'm out of my zone, actually just being on inside, comfortable. I like being in a freezer too. I like putting boots on the ground. Literally, like, this is out my zone, even though we could connect with my beautiful sister and bring her way from Sacramento right here, into your living room. We can all connect, and that's beautiful. But I still prefer, if I had it to be the way I want it to be, I would have still been on Green Mountain 33rd. I would have still been in front of Northeast Police District. I would have been in front of City Hall, Poopy Hall, as I call it. I would have been in front of those places, in front of the state's attorney's office, like literally. And now that they're, to me, are being able to control the way we be able to shut stuff down is disgusting. It's disgusting. And I feel like this COVID stuff is never going to end. I feel like we're just stuck into a society that's going to use things, don't give a damn about it. It's about the haves and the have-not. It's about the capitalist society. That's a whole nother conversation. But it needs to be had. But I'm ready to shut stuff down. I'm tired of swinging at the air. I'm really tired of swinging at the air. I am. So I'm going to check back in to see if our brother Marcellus is back up. Mic check.
Mic check. Sorry about that. I was muted. On Facebook, Hillary says mic check. And skipping over the part where there was the technical issues. Justice for Tyrone West says Justice and Accountability, JAMEvent.org. Hillary also posted it. March 18th, 2022, National Justice and Accountability March. Michael says, so glad you are safe. Michael Shannon Riggs, so glad you are safe. House fires are so devastating. And then on YouTube, we have a lot of comments on YouTube. Skipping over the audio issues. AC Britt says, if you are new to YouTube, please like and subscribe so we can get pushed up in ranking and visibility. First Lady Lisa says, y'all look beautiful though. AC West Wednesday says JAMEvent.org. Celebrating that AC Britt was celebrating that there was sound. And so was First Lady Lisa. First Lady Lisa says, go Mama Clark. And AC Britt says, yes, love this. Oh my God. Angela Sutton says, what a testimony. Smiley says, nothing but the grace of God, Pastor Harrison. Angela says, look at God. AC Britt says, wow. Angela says, keep smiling. Smiley says, standing Mike strong. AC Britt says heart. Angela says preach. And AC Britt says, yes, we did. Daniel says, we want an answer, Marilyn Mosby. And then AC Britt says, yes, we need access. They're on lockdown protection. And Angela says, boots on the ground. Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you so much again, Marcellus. I'm glad that you figured out that you were muted, so thank you. And again, everybody, I apologize for the technical difficulties, but we're in real life times and stuff happens, like literally stuff happens. So, but again, I apologize. But before we go on to reading the sad, horrible list, I wanted to check in and see if our brother Shavonte Clark is on. Mic check.
I don't believe he is.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
I don't believe he is. I believe he was having technical difficulties earlier on with his mic and then his connection, and he is no longer on.
Definitely understand. Yeah, so but again, I definitely truly want to thank our Mama Clark, who did an amazing job sharing, and I'm so glad for her time because they're on a whole 3-hour difference. So there's definitely wanted to thank her, and also definitely truly wanted to thank our minister Harrison because she gave the church, guys. We got church today on a West Wednesday. We got church today on a West Wednesday. And I definitely am a true believer of letting God direct your path because each and every day I pray and I'm just like, God, guide me, even though sometimes God will guide you into places that sometimes you don't even want to be. But if this is will, I'm willing to do it. And you just gotta listen to that small voice in your head that tells you, that strong feeling that tells you to do something or something's not right. You have to listen to it. And all I keep on thinking about is that very strong feeling I wanted to share with Pastor Harrison because the night that my brother was murdered, nobody believed me. Nobody believed me when I kept saying that something bad is happening to Tyrone. Everybody thought I was going crazy, like I was literally acting off the spirit, like literally I even had conversations with him that I felt like wasn't right, about people that I didn't trust. And we were talking about the Trayvon Martin situation. We had got so much in because I was not feeling right. I was feeling off. And I kept saying, like, why do I feel like this? He's like, well, sis, maybe you need to eat. And I'm like, no, it's deeper than that. And then before that time, I kept on seeing the number 7:18. And I'm like, why every time I look at the clock, it's 7:18. But I knew something was going to happen bad that day. And even though I have a nephew's birthday that's on that day, and I'm like, no, it's not my nephew's birthday. It's something like that's going to change me forever. And I had no idea. But as I walked and, continued out my day, literally when my brother pulled off, literally, I'm not lying, literally at 7 o'clock, I felt all type of pains in my neck on the left side to the point I fell onto my floor in my room. I'll never forget it like as if it was just I'm onto the floor. I'm standing there crying, holding my neck. I'm in agonizing pain. Don't know why. I'm like, oh my God. I'm thinking, oh my God, what if I'm having like a stroke or something medically is going on with me? And then I'm like, damn, I can't drive myself to the hospital. My brother has my vehicle. So I'm like, let me get it together. I don't want to scare my kids, but let me get it together so I can call 911, maybe meet them out on the front porch because I don't want my children to see me in this condition of being in agonizing pain on my neck and in my back area. I didn't know what was going on, but literally after close to 10 minutes, the pain was gone. And I'm like, what the hell just happened to me? And literally, I'm like, oh my God, something's wrong with Tyrone. I pick up the phone, I dial him numerous times, he didn't answer. I'm like, oh my God, my soul couldn't rest. I'm like, something bad has happened to the point I sent Barry to go down to his house. Literally, I'm like, look, you gotta walk. At that time, he didn't have a vehicle. I'm like, please, you need to go to my brother's house and see what's going on. Literally, he get down there. When he didn't see my car, I knew. I'm like, oh my God, you gotta get back up here now fast because I'm gonna need you. I need you because something bad is happening. Nobody couldn't tell me different. I'm calling my family. I'm like, something bad is happening. I even literally called an officer that I was dating at the current time. I'm like, look, I don't know what none of this stuff means. I'm like, are you at work or are you home? Are you off today? He's like, I'm at work. I said, could you please do me a favor? I said, I don't know what none of this means, and it may sound crazy. I said, but I need you to look out for my green Mercedes-Benz. You know my car. You know my brother. I said, right now, my brother's missing. He was in my vehicle, and I feel like something bad happened. I don't know if it's an accident. I said, but something God is telling me now to ask you, did you get a signal 13? He's like, yeah. He's like, God is telling me you're crazy. He made a little sarcastic joke. I'm like, why would you say that? He was like, that doesn't mean nothing about somebody being missing. That's a signal for an officer's there. And I said, I don't give a damn what that signal means. God told me to ask you, did you get a signal 13? And at that moment, he's like, well, I got one maybe 15, 20 minutes ago. I'm like, oh my God, please check that out. Something's telling me that's dealing with my brother. And literally, God don't know. I mean, God knows what would have happened if I'd had one good officer able to go and say, stop. All I needed was one to be able to stop those 17 maniacs and say, stop, hands off. That's all I needed was one officer. And I'm still thankful and grateful for the community members of Kentmore and Causeway who actually tried to stop these officers. But as you saw in that video, keep in mind that video, Ruiz, the first officer that pulled my brother over, that we're focused on now, that Marilyn Mosby has turned her back on all the new evidence that we gave her. You know, that she said that I'm gonna do my job. You get me? It didn't happen on my when my time frame, I'm just getting in the office type of thing. But we know that there's no statutory limit on murder. So you're not gonna tell me. I know that people can go 40, 50 years, and if you have evidence of murder, you can actually press charges, pursue charges, and take it from there and let the law do what it's supposed to do. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But anyway, about Ruiz, he has a pattern, guys, of using disgusting language, foul language, saying, get the F back, just back the F up. The same can happen to you. That's the same exact thing he did to those beautiful, brave souls on Kentmore and Causeway on July the 18th, 2013, when he was murdering my brother. And as you can see, 24 hours before my brother was executed, you saw Darrell Harris. And then you even saw, literally, on July the 1st, Abdul Salam, who, thank God, an 80-year-old lady, his neighbor, had to save him. He had a 3-year-old son who recalls the incident as it was yesterday, with daddy rolling on the ground with police officers, when Killer Ruiz pulled him out and started brutally beating him and Killer David Lewis. I'm sorry, Killer, there was too many officers that murdered my brother, so I'm getting all their names, but Killer Nicholas David Chet, because David Lewis was from Morgan, who wound up setting on my brother's neck after he was beat by 16 killer cops. He sat on my brother's neck until my brother was dead, while my brother was screaming, Trayvon Martin, help. You saw what happened to George Floyd. You saw his whole body, his whole soul leave his body. He was screaming for his dead mama. And you had my brother screaming for another dead victim, Trayvon Martin. Imagine, and I want to leave you on this note before we go into the sadness, but imagine what would happen if you guys was to get that video that they're hiding. No matter how many public information acts we put in, no matter what we put in, they will not release the video footage. And the horrible part is, I heard that one person that had that horrible video from beginning to end, pretty much 2 days after my brother was murdered, he packed up and literally left Kentmore Causeway. I hope that he's still living. I hope that somebody's out there watching this that can put me on to him. Please, I want you to share this video, guys, because we need this video. And just like my sister Adina said, if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. That's a whole nother story. But I want you guys to share this video, because I'm praying and I'm hoping, just like Minister Harris said to us, you heard it. God is real. And I know things happen. She said, and she talked it into my life, that something, keep on doing what you're doing, something big is going to happen. And not fail. I'm going to call it into existence. But we need your guys' help, because prayer without work is nothing. I can pray all day long that my bills get paid, but if I don't go out there and go and teach my class every day, I'm not going to get a paycheck. And unfortunately, my bills are not going to be paid. So again, prayer without works is nothing. But again, if you know somebody that has that video footage that they're trying to hide from our family, they have hidden for nearly 9 years, please get us that video. Please get us that video. If you have some pictures or anything that can help these people do their damn job. Because apparently 12 or more witnesses that didn't know my brother from a can of paint doesn't mean nothing to Merlin Lewis. Didn't mean nothing to Greg Bernstein, his racist piece of trash. Okay? So I'm just hoping that one day, and that's all, and matter of fact, forget one day. All I need Merlin Mosley to do at this point, put it in black and white. She only got to meet with me. Because apparently I don't even want to play the dog and pony show. She could write me a letter in black and white to say, I am not going to prosecute those killer cops that were involved inside in Tyrone West's case, and we could go out separate, and I can go over top her head. She's holding up the process. Justice delayed is truly justice denied. They done delayed it for 9 years. They're waiting till more witnesses die off. How long do a family have to wait? How many more family members of mine have to die without seeing a day that my family deserves? How many more? My grandmother, she's gone. She would never get to see that day. My cousin Tavon Anderson, who was fighting for accountability, that was gunned down just a year ago. Just a year ago, in a few days. He will never get to see accountability. You guys met my Uncle Clifton Anderson that said, hey, he suffered from sickness related to his nephew being murdered. He was fine. He wound up getting a stomach ulcer, worrying about why they treating our family like this. Why are they doing that? And then he went to Johns Hopkins Hospital, who left stuff in there that turned cancerous. Yes, I'm talking about Johns Hopkins Hospital. Yes, I am. Everybody can get the smoke. Okay? They left stuff in my uncle, and he went through 3 major surgeries. And he wound up to the point they studied leaving stuff inside of my uncle that ultimately took my uncle's life. But the only thing that my uncle asked for too was accountability, and he will never get to see that day. And I'm asking again, how many more of my family members will not be able to see accountability? It's sad and disgusting. But I'm going to check in with Marcellus before we go to the sad list and see if we have any more comments or questions. Mic check. And thank you, Marcellus, again. Mic check.
Mic check. So no additional comments on Facebook. On YouTube, Smiley says, yes, indeed, Angela, boots on the ground. Angela says, amen. AC Britt says, we need an answer. Mosby, do your job. Where's the video? And Angela says, disgusting politicians. Mic check.
Mic check. And speaking of which, my sister Angela still needs Timothy Fleming's autopsy. Like, what, they gotta wait a year? I've never heard of something. To be honest, I never thought nobody was going to out-top what happened to my brother, meaning that the medical examiner's office will still get to do this foolishness. But then I heard the medical examiner's office has that information handed over to Marilyn Mosby, and it's her job. It is her job to give my sister that information. It is her job